Kempire is brought to you by
the final show of the Kempire After Dark, the Villain Era live experience is coming to New York City Friday, September 12th at the Green Room 42, a night of hot topics, tea being spilled, and things that we don't talk about anywhere else. I never know what's going to come out of my mouth. I really don't, because I didn't expect to talk about penises during our most recent Washington, D.C. show. This is where you can come on your own. I always ask the audience how many people came here solo, and so many people come to these shows on their own. We encourage it. You also end up making a lot of really great lifelong friends from this experience. So if you haven't gotten your tickets yet and you are in New York City or the tri-state area or will be in New York City or want to be in New York City for maybe your final hurrah of the summer, get your tickets today. But this New York City has a special option that is not included in any of the other shows, and that it will be also live streamed on September 12th. But you have to get your tickets before the show. More ticket information on the final date of the Kempire After Dark, the Villain Era live experience will be available in the description. I'll see you all very soon.
You're listening to Kempire here on the Kempire Radio Network.
Hey, well, oh no, y'all, let me switch to there. There we go. What is going on? I am back in the studio, and if you were at our DC show, you know I was just there yesterday. Yeah, got on the first flight out. But I was on the ground, so I could tell you guys all the things that are actually happening in Washington, D.C., because I know some of you are fearful if you had trip plans or whatever to go to Washington, D.C. So some of you are scared. Based off of my experience for 48 hours, it's just a bunch of military guys walking around with nothing to do. I saw the DEA hanging around by my hotel with nothing to do. They didn't bother me. I didn't bother them. I said, hey. No, I didn't say hey. So if you were concerned, maybe you had a trip planned or you're heading to Washington, D.C., based on my experience, it's just a bunch of soldiers walking around. I mean, I'm not saying that nothing's happening there and that we shouldn't be on some level concerned. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying, I'm talking about my experience. For me, that lives in New York City, when we have Fleet Week, it was giving Fleet Week, except they weren't sailors. Okay, they weren't cute either. At least the sailors that come to New York City, you're like, oh, you look quite handsome in your sailor outfit. Okay, these are a bunch of guys just walking around looking funny looking. Some of them. Okay, come on, we kid, we laugh. Right? It's not their fault. They joined the military. We support the military. They joined the military. They've been given an assignment. Now, ICE, on the other hand, I didn't see ICE. Okay, I'll say this. I'm just jumping right on in. So I flew to Washington, D.C. Very quick flight. It's like you're up and then you're down. I didn't mind it, though, because when I compare the prices to the train and things like that, you know, I used to take the jet, not a private jet, it was a bus service. That's no longer in service, but it's so much longer doing it that way. But it was actually more expensive by train than the airplane. So I said, I'm taking the airplane. So I took the airplane. And look, I made it back in time. If I had taken the jet, there would be no live today. No. So let's thank Delta for getting me home safely, getting me to Washington, D.C. and home safely. I say all that to say because the elephant brain is working. So I get into the airport 2 hours early, actually more than 2 hours early. I am no Lisa. And this is for a domestic flight. And I have to say, DCA's security, at least today, it was like a breeze. I also have clear in TSA pre-check. But even if I didn't, if anything, the TSA pre-check looked like it had no one in there. But I just went through the clear because they didn't have like a clear in TSA pre-check. So I just went through the clear plus whatever that is. And I felt like it was longer over there. But anyway, I'm digressing. Focus. I'm telling you about my day. Don't be coming up in here just wanting me to get to the get. Selfish. Can I tell you about my day, my travel day? My travel day of 43 minutes in the sky, but I've been up since 6 a.m. because I didn't want to miss my flight. Just saying. So I've been up early, got to the airport by before 8:45. I was at the airport. Flight was at 11. Shut up. Stop judging. I feel like anytime that you're in the airport, time just elapsed. Like, I don't know what happens. It's just like, oh, and now it's time to start boarding. Because boarding was at 10:35. So I was like, I need to get to the airport by 9, the latest for me. Because I didn't know, I've never flown through Washington, D.C. before. So I didn't know what security would be like. It was a breeze. I've digressed so much that I did not even get to why I'm telling you about my airport experience. But I remembered, because once I got through security and I was walking, I was looking at the little kiosks and things like that. What in the Donald Trump is happening to Washington, D.C.? When I landed on, Thursday, the energy of D.C. felt a little off. It felt a little off. But anyway, so as I'm getting into the airport, I went through security. Shout out to Delta. Everyone was lovely. I'm sure they'll send me a survey and I won't complete it because I'm like, leave me alone. But no, I'm going to complete it because the guy that helped me at the gate was lovely. Very polite, black guy. Very polite. They have their own little system. I've digressed again. Focus. Okay. So I'm walking in and I see this kiosk. I didn't even go there to explore. And I know anyone else, all these other content creators probably would have went over there, made a whole TikTok video, things like that. I didn't even take a picture. But I will just tell you my recollection of what I saw as soon as I got through security. And I'm walking and I see this kiosk. I see these hats. I saw some of those. I don't know if it was Make America Great Again hats. I don't know. But it said do something else. And I can only imagine what it was actually saying, because they also had ice merch. Really? We're now selling ice merch? Who's buying this merch? Who's buying this merch? We're selling ice merch? Like this is cute? At the Washington, D.C. airport, DCA. I'm like, is that ice merch? Along with some of those red hats, the stupidity. I didn't even go over there. I didn't want none of y'all come through that airport, take a picture of me. Look, Kempire shopping at the Make America Great Again shop. I don't even know if there was that, but it was ice merch. I was like, this is not cute. And if I see you with an ice hat on, I'm going to look at you like you crazy. Shout out to our fans and our subscribers that are watching on Twitch. We have a lot of people watching on Twitch. Guys, I'm streaming in 4K. I'm literally streaming to Twitch in 4K. So join our community. We have quite a few people in there. You won't be by yourself like Nelson was by himself for a very long time watching us on Twitch. Right, Nelson? Nelson, you missed all the Virgo jokes I had last night in DC. I'll talk more about DC. Maybe I'll go live again later in a casual live and we'll talk more about DC. I've digressed. You're here for the Real Housewives of Miami. I watched it yesterday. I talked it with our Washington folks yesterday a little bit. That's the only thing with the live shows. I try to get into these episodes and talk about them. But I know there's so many things that you want me to talk about. So every single show is so different. We had a little bit of remnants of what I did in Atlanta for Washington, D.C. Oh, but we're going to change it up and shake it up in New York City. That is the final show of the summer tour. It's the final show of 2025 because I won't be touring for the rest of the year unless something comes up. But for the most part, no, I will not be touring for the rest of 2025 because it's about to be the holidays, y'all. It's about to be fall. We're going into the last quarter. Anyway, I say all this to say, go get your tickets for the New York City show, September 12th, featuring the Brooke Ashley. She's got some RHOPT. People were telling me some RHOPT. I got quite a few people telling me some RHOPT at the show. Not on the mic, like afterwards. I was like, oh, okay. All right. So stay tuned, New York City. We have a lot to get into, okay? Shout out to our Washington, D.C. folks. And shout out to those of you that were at the VIP at the top. I apologize. Some of y'all were hurt. No, you weren't hurt. You guys understand I was making jokes. Because I was like, why y'all up in the blood, what the blood? What do you call it? What do you call those? The nosebleed. The nosebleed seats. But that was the VIP. You know, sometimes when you're in the VIP, they put you so you can see from above and da-da-da-da. Whatever. It is live Taurus moon. This is not pre-recorded. And stay tuned. I will be recapping the Real Housewives of Orange County at some particular point over the weekend. I don't know when. All right. Coco says, hands to heaven seat. Oh, I like that name. That should be the new name for Nosebleeds. But it wasn't Nosebleeds. It was a very nice venue. This was our first time doing it at the Pearl Street Warehouse, but it was a nice venue. I just want to say shout out to those of you that were in the VIP. We appreciate you guys. Shout out to all of the content creators. We had quite a few content creators that came out to the show. My brother, Richie, forgive me, Richie. But we had quite a few people that came to the show. Really Be TV, Shade in the City. Shout out to all of the content creators that came, big, small, whatever. We appreciate you guys coming. All right. Okay, Coco says that's what we Beehive call them. Damn. Okay. All right, I think I vamped enough. Are you guys ready for our Real Housewives of Miami recap? If you haven't shared the live, you should share the live. That's one thing I never tell you guys to do. I tell you to like the video, but I also should be telling you to share the live. Don't forget, there's a share option under the video, so share this to your friends and family. Sharing is caring, okay? All right, Angel, thank you so much for the super chat. I didn't even realize we already had a super chat. Angel says, I was too afraid to go into DC, got ready to go, but paused at the door because I got, oh, Angel, I purchased a meet and greet and all. I'll get a New York City. Oh, Angel, I'm so sorry to hear that. Girl, you should have came. I really wish you would have come. It was a really nice, and we had a nice meet and greet at the end, at the top and at the end. We had two meet and greets, but it was a nice time, and everyone felt good and felt safe. But I get it. DMC says, hold on, really B praised your show. Thank you to yeah, I'm glad she came too. She went to my first show in DC as well. That's when I first met her. Shade in the City I feel like they've come to the show. I think every show, if I'm wrong, if at least these last two shows they came to, okay? All right, let's get to Real Housewives of Miami. If you had to rate this week's episode of Real Housewives of Miami, how would you rate it from 1 to 10? I thought that it was really, really good. I mean, there are certain little things we're going to talk about, although I haven't loved some of the hula stupidity this season. Overall, I think it's still kept my attention. It's been entertaining. And the last 3 seasons of Real Housewives of Miami have been entertaining and really, really good. I don't love everything from everyone. And Larsa, I had your back a lot over these last couple of episode recaps. I don't anymore. Because it does feel like now you're just trying to drag it out. And I'm not necessarily Team Lisa because I don't know these people. But I'm definitely Team Lisa this episode. Yes, I do feel like they baby her. I do feel like she can be less than smart at times. I do believe that she puts a little, maybe like 10 on 2. I do feel that way sometimes. However, this episode, I'm riding with Lisa because you guys were taking it too far. That whole conversation, we talked a little bit about this last week when we recapped the preview of what was to come. That conversation with Julia and Marisol was unneeded. And Julia really is a narcissist. I know people are tired of that word, but no. I actually think that Julia should go see someone. She should go call the lady. Because every single moment she tries to make something about her. We already saw it. She does it with Martina, the love of her life. She makes everything about her in every shape and form. Martina's going through cancer, and somehow we're going to do a party for Martina and make it about you. She's getting chemotherapy. You're over there in Europe getting a facelift. Every time. And we've seen it this season with the other women. I'm not surprised because this is Julia's behavior. She's going to do that with Martina. She's definitely going to do it with these people that she doesn't really consider friends. Just saying. Right? All right, I've digressed. Let me focus and get to what I want to get to from the top, okay? All right, so Larsa, because as you know, last week's episode ended with Larsa calling Lisa out for making everything about her. And look, we are watching an edited version. Do I believe that Lisa makes everything about her? Yes, she's a Leo. And I found it so funny in DC, but I notice this every time I meet up with you guys. You always say, I'm coming for your sign. I'm coming for every sign says it. And let's be honest. The only signs that I really come for, let's name them. Name them. Virgos, okay? Leos, Pisces men, for the most part. But the Geminis always are saying that I'm coming for them. The Libras say I come. I was like, I do not come for Libras. Libras, y'all are far too sensitive. You think if I'm coming for you, I have never come for you guys. If anything, the chat comes for you guys. I don't. But I'm going to start coming for y'all because y'all keep coming for me. Okay. But look, the Virgos are hard as nails because I have to say, even when I meet the Virgos, right, Nelson called me out for coming for Virgos the first time I met Nelson at the New York City show. But, like, he gets it. Some of y'all come at me like, y'all don't come at me like mad, but more like, you gotta stop coming for my sign. I'm like, get over it. Cancers too, we can't. Mama Ali says, but you love us Tauruses. Of course. That goes without saying, right? Some of us. Okay. Oh, a ray of sunshine says Sagittarius here. I think Kempire likes us. I do. I've said that. I've described Sagittarius almost like a childlike energy, and I don't mean that in a negative way. There's something about Sagittarius. I wouldn't date one. No. Y'all too wild for us. For a Taurus. Too wild for me. I might give it a shot for some fun, but that's about it. Y'all should have came to the Washington DC show. We talked about D's like no other. I haven't said that word in so many times in 1 hour than I did at the DC show. I said it so many times. We talked about the D thing a lot at that show. I don't know. Look, I didn't plan to. It just came off the top of my head. I was like, oh, let's talk about it. Oh, anyway, I'm going to do a separate live probably later on this evening, maybe, to talk about the DC show. 'Cause apparently, I got a lot to say. All right. Okay, I'm going to block you. Commander-in-Chief says, April Tauruses are elite. Lies you tell. Right, May Tauruses? Lies you tell. Now we're going to have a civil war amongst the Tauruses. All right. All right, focus. So Larsa reads the text message that Jody has sent. And I told you last week, I felt as if they were going to react as if this text message was a lot worse than it was. Lisa read the text message at one particular point during the episode. Larsa read the text message at this particular point in the episode. I don't like the fact that Jody is texting a woman in the group and he's being combative. He might not call her the B word or be like, or threaten her. But there is something when a man is texting a woman incessantly and it's not friendly text that can give the aura of aggression. And especially when his eyes pop out. You get what I'm saying? Especially when you're arguing. I don't care who it is. You could be a gay man. If you're texting a woman like that, I just feel like, let Lisa fight her own battles. She doesn't need you fighting the battles. And I think everyone agreed with that except Lisa. Okay? So, and apparently in the text, he had at one point said, let this fight go. Because they were talking about what happened in Milan. They had a fight in the elevator in Spain. And apparently Larsa may have brought up Jody. Whatever. And that's when he started texting her. All right. So Larsa then goes on to say that Lisa kills the vibe with her legal issues. And one of the things because I did end up watching the after show, hence why I was a little late. It feels as if, very much like how they treat Gertie and her cancer, they're sort of like, okay, that was like 2 seasons ago. That's what they're talking about when it comes to Lisa's divorce. I understand people are probably tired of Lisa constantly complaining and, she could be a lot. I definitely, even off an edit, I think we can tell that Lisa can be a lot and she can be self-centered. Can we tell that? However, this divorce, which we've seen play out on social media and in the blogs, has not been easy. And Lenny has not made it easy. Lenny is a troll. He is trash. And their divorce took about 2 years. So, of course, that's going to be at the forefront of her storyline, the forefront of her life. But it seems as if, because even in the after show, they were like, she's been talking about this for 2 years. She's been going through this for 2 years. And Alexia, I'm sure you're going to be talking about Todd for the next season too. Utilize it. I can't believe Alexia, because we did a separate video talking about Todd's 10-minute video. If you haven't seen it, it's worth it. I actually watched it and break it down for you, because at first, I was not trying to hear Todd. But Todd comes to Gertie's defense. Todd exposes Bravo and production, and he's threatening to sue. I don't think he's threatening. He says that he's suing, and he's going to make them. All right? Foxy says Lenny belongs in the gutter. So that's why I don't understand why they can't seem to give grace. I think it's not just about her going through a divorce or Gertie going through cancer. They can't help. Again, I always tell you this. A lot of the arguments that you're seeing on the show is not about what they're talking about. It's usually about the show. You get what I'm saying? So for me, when they start talking about Lisa's divorce and she's sucking the air out of the room, it's a negative vibe. What they're saying is the fact that Lisa is probably going to get more airtime than them. Okay? DJ, I've never said Libras are liars. That's what people in the chat say. I never said that, DJ. Y'all say that. I've never said that. I repeat what you guys say. I've never said Libra, because I don't know Libras to be liars. I have close friends that are Libras, and I don't know them to be liars. Can they hold water? I know Libras can't hold water, meaning like if you tell them something that might get regurgitated to someone else. See, I'll own that, but I've never said y'all say that Libras are liars. I learned from y'all about that being a thing. I have not, in my experience, I don't know Libras to be liars. But that's me. Okay? Exactly. SW says, Alexia will talk for 5 years. Oy, por favor. Come on. Denise says, hey, Kempire, I'm late, but did someone tell you that a guy passed out last night in the upper level and EMT came? I did find out later. I did find out about that later. I had no idea while I was on stage. Anastasia says, Kempire said, how I get in it. I'm seeing the comments. I'm like, really? I never said that. Don't be lying on my name. I never said that. See, look, Bloomingtail says Libras are definitely liars. Ooh. See, she's saying that. I'm not. That has not been my experience. Okay? All right. Let me focus so I can get through this, because I do want to get to some callers, guys. If you haven't already, be sure to like the video. It's an easy and free way of supporting not just my channel, but other channels as well. You can also hear our live recaps and special episodes and extended versions of our episodes on the Kempire podcast. Subscribe today, and don't forget to give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. And based off the amount of people that are listening and downloading the podcast, you're not rating. So I'm reminding you guys, it's important to rate the podcast, both on Spotify and on Apple. So please do so. All right. Back to this. So Larsa talks about how Lisa kills the vibe. Gertie, for me, in this episode, she gave me a lot of comic relief. But she also, in this moment, gets into crisis mode, trying to figure out how she can help Lisa. And I told you, this is why I kind of want to see a reality show based off of Gertifying, like it should be called Gertified, like the whole planning a wedding experience. She makes a joke about like, girl, you trying to find a notary is nothing to me when I'm dealing with a groom that said no at the altar. And then she reiterates it in the confessional. She had a lot of funny moments in this week's episode of Real Housewives of Miami, Gertie. But she's there trying to help Lisa, and then when Jody is trying to talk about what Larsa's saying, she's like, oh, we can't worry about that right now. What we need to worry about is getting this signed document notarized. And apparently there's an online notary. Oh, I mean, look, it's 2025. People are traveling, people are abroad. You need what you need. And do I believe that Lisa had something that required her to sign it in an hour? I do. Again, remember they're in a time difference. And look, could it have waited maybe a day or two? Maybe. But maybe she missed it. She seems to be late with a lot of things, but maybe she missed it. However, look, I also have dealt with so many different contracts. As also, I worked at a law firm for 15 years. Sometimes lawyers are like, we need this back as soon as possible. And if they're giving her a time, that says they're trying to get something in maybe before a deadline. Because we don't know if this could have been right before a weekend. And let me tell you, the amount of times on a Friday evening where I think I'm going to leave at 4 o'clock and nope. Oh, we have a request for 100 temps for Monday. So then I'm at the office late that Friday evening going into Saturday. So just based off my experience, that can happen. And at first I was sort of like, did she set this up to kind of drive home the point of why she was late? But no, now I would believe her because we literally get to see in this week's episode Lisa running around trying to figure this out, but also deal with everyone being upset with her making this moment about her. Oh, look. Swoleston? There we go. Yes, I had something notarized online. It was fast and great experience. See? I didn't even know. See how we learned stuff? That must be fairly new, though, because I never heard of online notary. But that's fantastic. This is true, too. Kitty says Lenny was trying to torture Lisa. Like, did we forget? Did the women forget? They know Lenny better than we do. Did they forget how he's been petty during this divorce? Oh, Nikita says, Kemp, my mom is a Libra and she be lying. Nikita, why are you telling your mom? Lord, that is too funny. But okay. All right, so moving on. Alexis and Adrianna end up getting into it because Adrianna wants to point out the fact that that this whole situation with Lenny has been contentious, and Alexia should know. Look what you're going through with Todd. Alexia gets upset. She's like, don't bring up Todd. You're going too far. Don't bring up Todd. But I got where Adrianna was coming from. Adrianna was not trying to take a dig at Alexia. She was just bringing up, look, you see what she's been going through with Lenny. This is probably why she's having to deal with these legal things the way that she's having to deal with them. It has not been easy for her. You, of all people, with someone that's going through a divorce, should understand. But Alexia immediately, because she does not like Adrianna, gets defensive and gets really upset. Then Adrianna gets emotional about what's happening in the group, and she's like, I'm very sensitive to these things. Larsa, although normally I would probably think this was a funny moment, it just felt a little too Mean Girl, especially when it's compounded with so much Mean Girl behavior on Real Housewives of Miami lately. Normally, I probably would have been like, if this was like a few moments, it would probably be like, did you just tell this girl to go in the corner? Larsa tells Adrianna, get up and go in the corner because I don't want to see this. I was like, what? And Adrianna wants to point out, because we've seen it before, everyone in this group gang up on her. She says, I don't like to see a gang up. And that's how she feels they are treating Lisa right now. So Lisa comes back to the table, and then Lisa and Larsa get back into it again, arguing their points. All right. Larsa says that Lisa is always making herself the victim. Is that far from the truth? No. But right now, she really is. She is going through a divorce. She's going through a nasty divorce with Lenny. And if you've been watching our recaps, I've had Larsa's back when it comes to some of the things that they've been arguing about. But let's not try and lessen the fact that she is going through a divorce. She is going through a divorce. And if you guys have allowed her to get away with a lot of stuff over the years, that's on y'all. But her going through this messy divorce with Lenny is not something that she's making up. We've seen it. And Lenny is not being easy with this divorce. Especially if we haven't gotten all the details on the show, but if you've been following the blogs, then he has not made this divorce easy for her. And do I think that maybe on some level that Lisa is like, okay, well, I'm going to utilize this too for more sympathy? Yeah. All right. Let's move on from there. Okay. So Lisa starts taking notes, and she explains the reason why she started taking notes because of her divorce. Because this is a big portion of what happens in this episode. It's about Lisa taking notes. The way that they made her taking notes like this huge thing, I said this last week, I'm going to say it again this week. Her taking notes is not that big of a deal. I get why she's taking notes. We know Lisa's not the brightest bulb, okay? I can understand her taking notes on them. I don't care. My friends could... I don't see a big difference between a friend like Tamara taking mental notes to bring it up later versus Lisa taking literal notes. How is that hurting you? If she's recording you, that's a whole other thing. But taking mental notes, well, she said this about me today. If anything, I get it. She's on a reality show. These are things she's probably going to have to talk about later on during the reunion or in interviews. I don't see a big deal about it. The way that they elevated this to, you need to put your phone away. All of y'all are probably taking notes. Y'all just not admitting it. I don't get it. I don't get the fascination with her taking notes and them making such a big deal about it. I thought it was petty. I thought it was ridiculous. Like, why are you taking notes on us? I don't like the fact that she's taking notes. Y'all need to get over it. Because some of y'all probably actually recording each other and not saying anything. Okay. All right. Okay. Then Julia, again, has to make it about herself. She goes around the table. And first of all, Stephanie's not trying to hear. She's like, you're not kissing me. No means no, Julia. So she goes around the table and she's kissing everyone because I guess she wanted to have some sort of moment. Girl, it's not about you. It doesn't always have to be about you, Julia. So she starts kissing everyone, and this is where you saw in the mid-season trailer where she kisses Gertie. Does it make more sense now, guys? They weren't beefing at this particular point. They had decided to get over their issues. She wasn't the only one that was kissed. I'm sure production intentionally tried to rage bait the audience by including it in the mid-season trailer. Now I have to see why exactly Julia and Gertie kissed. They rage baited you. Okay, very much like American Eagle did. You know what I mean? Mex Callie, I feel like I haven't seen this name in so long. Mexi says, exactly, Kempire. The fact that Marisol said in the episode when Steph told Lisa that her being late is rude, Marisol was so happy that someone addressed it. Yeah, a lot of them have been holding back on their issues with Lisa over the years. I don't understand why. I mean, I do get it. Lisa does have like an over-the-top reaction when you call her out. But here we are. Foxy says, why is Julia kissing everyone in the group? She wanted to draw the attention back to herself. That's how I took it. I'm looking at her behavior, and every moment she's trying to draw it back to herself. Like, girl, don't nobody care about you. Like, that kissing scene, you're lucky I even mentioned it. I almost skipped it over, but the only reason why I'm mentioning it is because I want to highlight how much of a narcissist you actually are. Just saying. All right, let's move on. So the next day, the group separates in two different groups. One group is going sightseeing. The other group is going tile making. Now I need to go to Seville because if you don't know me, every time I've traveled, like when I've gone to Amsterdam, when I've gone to Portugal is like the tile capital. If you see me on like my TikTok lives, you'll see my the tiles that I got from Portugal. I love collecting those tiles. Beautiful. I even went to the tile museum in Portugal. So I found this to be fascinating. Now I need to go to Seville and get me a tile. And maybe make my own tile. Now I don't want to make my own tile because the tiles that they made look terrible. I'm going to go buy a tile that's already made. So let's talk about that, first of all. Marisol, apparently, Alexia says, please don't paint what you've been drawing in the hotel room. Apparently she's been drawing eggplants in the room, so then it leads to conversation in the confessionals asking all the women about drawing an eggplant. Not a literal eggplant. I'm just using another word. Okay? A private area. And Julia's like, oh, I might be a lesbian, but I can draw one. And then she draws one and it looks like a bone. Stephanie drew Masood's eggplant looked strange, but okay. He says it was accurate though. You said it was accurate. All right. All right. And Larsa's like, I'm not doing that. I don't blame her. I wouldn't have done it either. Like, what are you asking me to do? I'm like, call HR. Like, why are you asking me to draw an eggplant? Just like. So they had that conversation. Stephanie asked Larsa. So this is where Stephanie lost me. And I tweeted this yesterday. Shout out to everyone watching on X. Stephanie then decides, and remember I said this too, I noticed this energy with with Larsa and Stephanie, that Stephanie sort of like up Larsa's butt, literally. Stephanie asked Larsa if she wants Lisa on the plane, because, they had their falling out the night before. And Larsa's like, I was shaking, last night. You were not shaking. You were not that upset, Larsa. You were doing the most. You were making that moment about yourself. You wanted to draw attention back to yourself because all of you are fighting for camera time. That's what it is. It's not about anyone doing anything to you. You're hating the fact that the attention is now being drawn to that particular person. Let's break the fourth wall. So Stephanie, in that moment, this is where I was starting to get annoyed with Stephanie. I was like, really, Stephanie? So now Lisa's going to be separated from Root. Now what? Lisa now needs to get on in a car and meet you guys there after you guys get there in 22 minutes? Like, that was weird. Like, that wasn't necessary. Like, everyone can suck it up. It wasn't that bad of an issue. I don't know what the hell Stephanie was crying for later on, but we'll get to that. It was like doing the most. Again, Stephanie probably feels like, oh, everybody's trying to have a moment. I'm going to have a moment too. What the hell were you crying for? I get it. On some level, you're new to this group and you're probably not used to these types of personalities and constant fighting. Fine. But so she asked Larsa that, and Larsa falls into victim mode. And she's like, well, I was kind of shaken up yesterday. I was shaking. Girl, you'll be fine. So Julia then inserts herself in this part of the conversation. She's like, well, guys, I was planning when I go to when I go to see my friends to ask them to be the godfathers of the boys, and I really don't want what issue? What did Lisa do yesterday? What did Lisa do? Remember, Lisa just mentioned that she had an issue with her. She had a legal documents to sign. She did not cause any drama. Larsa caused the drama by making it an issue in drama. So Julia inserting herself like the narcissist that she is, saying, oh, guys, I don't want this to happen tomorrow. So she's like inserting herself. So I'm thinking she's letting Stephanie know, yeah, maybe she shouldn't be on the plane. And then they say, well, maybe we should have a conversation with her. And then Marisol and Julia said, well, we'll be the ones to have the conversation with her. What? This is doing too much. This is why I'm Team Lisa in this episode, because y'all are doing way too much. Vicky says, why are the Godfathers so far? Because Julia needs a storyline. I don't know. Because she's claiming that they're going to be the male figures in the boys' lives. How often will they see these male figures? Once, twice a year? Okay. Whatever. It's always something. Michelle says, come to Seville. Wait, Michelle, are you in Seville? Michelle? I'd love to come to Seville. I definitely think soon I'll make my way to Italy again. Italy. Spain, but Italy too. Because I want to see more of Spain. And I want to see more of Italy. So I don't know if I'll do it in the same trip, obviously. But yeah, I've been saying that to myself. I've been to both countries, but I want to make more. I want to see more, I should say. Nandy says, hold on, Nandy says, the facial expression between Marisol and Alexia makes me feel as though that once they get home, they're going to start talking about Stephanie and her buying friendships. They kind of already started. Kendra, thank you so much for the super chat. Kendra says, I'm glad they finally addressed Marisol calling Lisa a monkey. Oh, yeah, in the after show. They talked about that. Lisa says she doesn't really like it, but she allows only Marisol to call her that. Kendra says, sidebar, I likely to getting active next week. Call Larsa, Petty, Pippin, and Lumpy. Yeah, y'all saw that? Mrs. D. Green, thank you so much for the super chat. She says, you're nice to us Gemini women, though, Kempire. Well, tell the lady that last night that told me, like, I'm not nice to Geminis. And I was like, what? I don't say nothing about Geminis like that. Maybe here and there, but not a lot. Everyone gets it here when it comes to the signs, but Gemini is definitely not one that gets it. Nicole, Robert, thank you for the super chat. Nicole needs to teach Stephanie about a humble brag. Yeah, they're very different energies, Dr. Nicole and Stephanie. Kendra, thank you for another super chat. Kendra says, I'd rather be stuck in Hartsfield Jackson Airport for hours before flying on Stephanie's plane. Yeah, because Stephanie has all those rules. Stephanie's rule, and they talked about this extensively, oddly, during the after show about you're not allowed to poop on the plane. And then she joked, I'm going to put in quotes, joked that her glam squad, when they fly abroad, they don't eat for 3 days, so they don't have to go poop on the plane. She could have been just dramatic with that, but regardless, I get it's your private plane, and I get it, poop is not the most glamorous thing, but it happens to everyone. Everyone does it. But here's the thing, and I didn't see this on, I don't remember if we saw this on Stephanie's plane. If you're going to have a private plane, you should probably also have a private flight attendant. They exist. I've seen them before, and there are I've seen like TikTok and things of private flight attendants, like they only, do fly privately. And if you have a private flight attendant, your flight attendant is always going to keep that room fresh and smelling good, regardless. So I don't get the whole. I mean, they said she had a lot of rules, and I agree with Alexia in the after show. Alexia was just like, I mean, I'm a little OCD too. Taurus, it must be a Taurus thing, but she's got a lot of rules. Scorpio. Hold on, let me see. Royal K says, me going to your account every hour just to hear your opinion after seeing Kiki's interviews. Well, I talked about it last night during the Washington, D.C. show. Kiki, as you know, has done multiple interviews in 1 week, including a Carlos King interview. She did quite a few. Like, it was one at NBC New York. She did a couple of podcasts. And I told you this before. We've seen it with other housewives right after a reunion. You see them going to press tour. They're trying to do damage control. And that's exactly what I feel she's doing. Because she's been talking about the things with Gertie and what's been happening with Gertie and why she unfollowed Gertie. She eventually admitted that she blocked Gertie. Yeah, she didn't unfollow Gertie. They didn't unfollow each other. She blocked Gertie. When you block someone on Instagram, it makes the other person that you're blocking unfollow you. So, Kiki, you're going out sad. You're going out sad. I'm not saying that Gertie's perfect. I'm not saying that Gertie doesn't play up some of the support that she's getting. I think she does. But you guys have made it so easy for all of us watching this show to defend Gertie, to be on Gertie's side. Because Gertie has come out and explained her side, and we're all like, that makes sense. You've come out this week and tried to explain your side, and we're like, no, girl, you're trying to be in with these cool girls. And we already have known this from the first season of this reboot. Between you, Marisol, and Adrianna, all three of you are fighting. It's like the Hunger Games. You guys are fighting for a mojito. When we told you, girls, I'm going to tell you this right now. There is no friend of currently right now that I think needs a mojito. I'm not saying that they're not great for the show. I'm saying, based on what we know of their lives, I don't need, not Marisol, Kiki, Adrianna. I think they're great as friend ofs. Y'all keep asking, oh, they should give Kiki a mojito. The minute they give her a mojito, y'all gonna be like, oh, she's boring. She doesn't need a mojito. She does. I like the position that she plays. That's it. She doesn't need a mojito. They want the mojito because that means a lot more money. And they've been fighting since season 1 for a mojito. We already had multiple receipts on Marisol fighting for the mojito. We know Adrianna wants a mojito. She even got we haven't even seen Amari. Remember at the beginning of the season? We saw Adrianna and her boyfriend, Amari. Like, we knew that was given, like, okay, she's trying to have some sort of, storyline. It's not a real relationship. The same with Kiki. Yes, I've said this before. I've said this over the last couple of seasons. I haven't been one of the people saying that they need to give her a mojito. I said, no, just show more of her life. Let's break the rules of what you show a friend does. We don't need to give them mojito. You can still show more of their lives. That's what they did this season. We got to know a little bit more about Kiki and her family in separate scenes. That's fine. I don't mind that. I don't need to see any more, though. I don't need to see any more. April says, yep, just like they did with Shamia. Sidebar. I didn't get to talk about this last night because I only found out about this morning. I see that Shamia is filming for this season of Real Housewives of Atlanta, season 17. And I saw Pinky Cole was at one of the events as well. So the tea is being confirmed that K. Michelle and Pinky Cole are going to be a part of this cast. I ain't seen no Sheree or Kim Z yet. Just saying. But I see Shamia is there. Portia is there. K. Michelle, Pinky Cole. K. Michelle was not at this event. Drew is back. Angela Oakley's back. Shamia's back. Lord. Oh, my goodness. Okay. Mexi says, Adrianna and Marisol for me are full-time because they have been on the show since day one. Everyone is surprised when I say that their friend does, because they don't give the energy a friend does. We're still seeing their story. We're still seeing them on the show. We're seeing in these last few episodes, Adriana's narrating the episode. I enjoy that. I don't need them to put on. I don't need them to feel like they need to show up as housewives, because that's where they start lying to us and become unlikable. Don't need it. Okay? All right, let me focus, guys. I've taken such a tangent when it comes to the latest episode of Real Housewives of Miami, guys. Don't forget, the Kempire After Dark live experience, the Villain Era. Our final show of the summer tour will be here in New York City on September 12th at the Green Room 42. This show is a special show because this show will have a live stream option. Buy your live stream ticket today. Don't wait to the last minute, because it won't be available, the live stream ticket. Okay? So go get your tickets today, and you'll have that live stream. Unlike the people coming in person, even though coming in person is going to be amazing, because there will be things that are said at the meet and greet or offline that you guys will not see. Coco says, got my live stream ticket. Shout out to all of you that have been telling me you got your live stream ticket. Let me know in the chat, replay crew, let me know. The live stream, though, you guys get to keep that show for 7 days. So for those that are in person, there might be stuff like, wait, what did Kempire say about this particular story? The live stream ticket people, like Foxy and Mama Ali, will be able to be like, oh, let me go back and rewind. Just saying. Mr. Melon Magic says, how many years have you been doing live shows, Kemp? This is our 2nd year. Well, DC was our 3rd time going to DC. And shout out to DC, we had a sold out show. A lot of people bought tickets the day of. Appreciate you, DC. Okay. Y'all showed up. Y'all showed up a little late, but y'all showed up. No, for the most part, everyone showed up. I mean, when I say showed up late, meaning like bought your tickets late. But everyone showed up on time, because you know what happened? Shout out to Taria Faison from the What Else Is Going podcast, our lovely host last night. She went out there at 7:01. The show starts promptly at 7 o'clock, okay? Seniors 11 says, I got my live ticket. Foxy says, I will be watching the live stream. Okay. I will see you guys then. Hey, Reality Connoisseur says, I respect your work ethic. You're a fabulous example for a younger generation. Thank you. I appreciate that. You guys have such lovely things that you say to me. Back to our Real Housewives of Miami recap, because now this is getting long. I've been talking for almost an hour. And I do want to take callers for those that watched the episode. I thought I might have time yesterday. I just did not have time yesterday to recap the show. I did end up watching it. And I did go live just to talk about some of the things that were in pop culture. So if you missed yesterday's live, mods, if we can post the links to yesterday's live where I talk about Lil Nas X. We even talked about Lil Nas X during the live show yesterday as well. Okay. During the DC live show, I should say. But okay. All right. So that's what they talked about. Marisol, Larsa, Julia, and Larsa talked about during the tile making session. All right. One of the other things that Marisol says is she feels like Lisa has changed a lot since the divorce. She says literally she's thinking more. As if it was a bad thing. As if it was a bad thing. She says she's thinking more as to why she's writing everything down. I can see that. Now she probably has to think more. Although Jody is supporting her, I do think that Lisa sort of has been used to Lenny thinking and doing everything for her, or having people do everything for her. She lived a very privileged life with Lenny, hence why she probably put up with Lenny going upstairs. Just saying. Just saying. That might be it, but okay. All right. My voice is because, last night, after I have a live show and then I do a live today, I do a lot of talking during the live show and then we have the meet and greet. So I'm already starting to, so I'm going to have to get through this. Let me move on, y'all. So the other event that's happening at the same time is that Kiki, Gertie, Lisa, and Adrianna go sightseeing. Adrianna, and I love the fact that during this trip, we're seeing that Adrianna is smart. And she talks about, I've been to 58 countries. I studied here. I studied there. We know she's currently in Harvard. And she's like the expert. Gertie's making commentary. She's like the Jackie of all trades. She's also like Inspector Gadget right now with her outfit. And they do a side-by-side. And I was like, oh, she kind of does. But she's really smart. She's really explaining where they are. I had a friend like that when I went to Paris. I had a very amazing time the first time that I went to Paris because my friend really knew the history of all the things in like just like the historic parts of Paris. So that's how I felt walking around Paris. I was like, he's telling me like, well, this happened, da 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 da, and I'm like, and he knew about food, and so I was like, this is an amazing trip. Like, I don't even need to get like a tour. Because he's giving me the tour. So that's what I got from Adrianna in this moment. She's taking them around. She's explaining everything. And here's the thing. I don't even think it's just the fact that she's traveled and lived. I think Adrianna, before going on this trip, she did her homework. She studied. She's like, oh, we're going to do sightseeing? She's like, I'm going to make sure I know about everything. Smart woman. I don't love everything about Adrianna. The whole ratchet comment, what we're going to talk about, I didn't like that. Do I think that she used it incorrectly? Yes. Did she mean to say something else? Probably. However, there are ramifications for when you say stuff like that. I didn't like that. I was like, what does she mean ratchet? First of all, it didn't make sense. But for the most part, and I'm pretty sure she will apologize to Kiki at the reunion for that. But the way that escalated, I was like, wait, what is going on right now? And please understand, a lot of times these women are not fighting about what they're actually fighting about. They'll act like they're talking about, oh, you called me ratchet and you're too old for this. But they're really fighting to have a moment, to have a scene that's going to show up so the audience could be like, oh, they had a moment. A lot of times they're reacting this way so that they could be seen. Especially what you're really seeing are two friend ofs that trying to have a moment. In my opinion, I'm not saying that's fact. In my opinion, that's what I'm seeing. Lakia says she's a very cultural and historical teacher. Like, yeah, like I would want to go with Adrianna. I'm like, show me, explain. Because that's the kind of trip I like. Some people just want to go, drink, eat, blah, blah. That's fine. Eating is a part of the culture too. But for me, like I want to know about the buildings that we're looking at, the history. There's so much history in different parts of the world, especially Europe. There's so much history in the architecture and these castles and blah, 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 blah. So I like a tour like that for me. And if your friend can give you that tour, fantastic. So the group ends up sitting down. And this is probably why she didn't pay attention when they were pinky swearing. I believe her. If you go back to the footage, I believe Adrianna was not paying attention. I think Adrianna was really in the moment and taking everything in. And Adrianna does not care about some of the petty drama. Because as someone, yes, she's on a reality show, but she's also a very cultured, educated woman. So she's not... She's probably like some of us, like, I don't care what y'all talking about. I get it. We're on a reality show. And you guys, we've seen her a couple of moments. Remember in the lobby of the hotel? We see Lisa and Marisol talking about the fight with Larsa, and Adriana's like, okay, guys, I gotta go pee, and I'm gonna have some salmon. Like, she's just over it. Like, she's there for the experience and the education and the culture of the experience. April, stop. April said, we are never gonna let Kiarna forget this. Yes, lots of history in the Europe cities. Oh, Lord. Yeah. Dear Yvette says, I love Adrianna. She's very informative. Yeah. Okay. So they sit down to have a conversation, and Lisa talks about the challenges that she's been having with this divorce and with the children and her son, saying, like, I want to bring you and Daddy back together. That's saying to me that he probably doesn't like Jody. But again, that's his dad. He wants to bring them back together, and that's all he's ever known, obviously. So she talks about how that hurts her and how this is affecting the kids and how kids should not have to be thinking about these adult problems. Yeah. So Kiki then says to Lisa that Jody should not be texting Larsa. I think we all can agree with that. But she emphasized, like, no man should be texting any of us in the group like that. And he was being aggressive in the text and things like that. I don't think he was being aggressive in the text, but him incessantly texting her. We didn't get to see all the texts. We have to keep that in mind too. Remember, Larsa said he was just kept on texting her, and eventually she had to block him. Okay. Then they discuss Lisa unfollowing Marcus. And Gertie points out, like, we get it. The reason why you don't want to unfollow Marcus is because Larsa is telling you to do it. Adriana's explanation, because Lisa looks to her, is like, you're usually my, voice of reason. And the way that Adriana explains it, I was like, it was like perfection. This is why I say Adriana can sometimes be messy and can seem like she's all over the place. But not only is she smart in the books, she also is very smart when it comes to people. She's one of the few people that is not just book smart, but she's also people smart. And she has common sense. And the way she explains why Lisa is reacting the way that she's reacting and why she thinks that Lisa should unfollow Marcus, because now you take away a portion of Larsa coming at you constantly. And Gertie emphasizes that too. She's like, well, now she can't come at you like that. Yeah. Look, yeah, but apparently they decided that they would not tell Larsa. I don't know why. But in all fairness, when they flash back later on, when they bring this up, pay attention to Adriana. Adriana was not paying attention to them. I have to give Adriana her credit. When you watch that again, Adriana was sort of like looking up, and then you see Gertie pull her finger in to do the pinky swear because she wasn't paying attention. She wasn't. But okay. All right, let's move on. So Julia, Marisol, and Lisa had the combo. We talked a little bit about this combo last week. So basically, Marisol says that Lisa has to stop taking notes on the friend group. Everyone's uncomfortable with it. They want her to put her phone away or put her phone in a basket. And Lisa's like, I have young kids. And Marisol, who has no children, says, well, Lenny can't do it. She's like, no. Jody can't do it. And she's like, no. She's like, why can't Jody do it? He's your partner, blah, 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 blah. She's like, he's not their father. And he has no legal standing to do anything. And regardless, she still is going to want to know if something, God forbid, happens with the children. She's going to want to know that in an instant. And Julia, who just adopted 2 young boys, should know how that feels too. So, of course, Lisa gets really upset, over the top. She's like, obviously, you guys do not want me here. And when you think about it, I know some people might be like, well, Lisa's being very sensitive. No, they're being ridiculous. What they're asking is ridiculous. She has young kids. Do I think she's so actively involved in her kids? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. When she uses that as an excuse as to why she's late, I think that's an excuse. But when it comes to being at least aware of what's happening with her kids, no, she should be able to keep her phone. She has not recorded you guys. She's only written down the names that Larsa has called her. I'm Team Lisa on this. I think you guys are being ridiculous. You're lucky she only flipped out the way that she did, and she didn't drive home and cuss you the hell out, Marisol. You're ridiculous for asking her to put her phone in a basket somewhere when she has 2 young kids and she's abroad. What's wrong with you? And Julia just sitting there because, she's trying to be a part of the Mean Girls crew. Like, yeah, you shouldn't do that. We're all going to do it. Sit down. You just adopted these 2 boys. I hope the social worker saw that. You're going to put your phone away while you're away? This is probably why your girls are so upset with you. Just saying. Look, did I lie? Nope. Look, nope. Just saying. Guys, we're almost at 300 likes. Don't forget to like the video. It's an easy and free way of supporting not just my channel, but other channels as well. We've had so many content creators come to the DC show that we're talking about me being an inspiration to their channel. This is how you end up discovering a lot of these other content creators, big, small, whatever. This is how you end up discovering them, from liking my video. More similar content will start to show up. Okay? So be sure to like the video and be sure to share. Share this to your group, like Kempire's Live. Share it to your social media. Let people know. This is how we continue to build our community. And shout out to all of you. So many people, because I know some of y'all that are coming to the New York City show are scared to come to the New York City show because you're scared to come on your own. So many of you came on your own and made friends. Or you made friends from the last time you came to the show. And you're all making a plan to come to the show together. This is it's hard to make friends as we get older. I know we have a large community, from the people in their 20s and 30s and 40s, but we also have a lot of people that are in their 40s, 50s, and 60s. It's hard to make friends as you get older. So why not make friends with people that have similar interests? Not me bringing the people together. Come on. I'm just saying. I didn't have a show like this, coming to a city near you for me to go and make friends. Just saying. And I'm big on going somewhere by myself. I have no problem with it. Just saying. Okay. Nelson will be there. Nelson will be our ambassador for the solo folks. But Nelson, you usually come on your own, right? I don't recall. Yeah, I feel like you. But Nelson, by now, Nelson probably got his New York friends that he met at the show. Shout out to everyone watching on Twitch, guys. Don't forget to follow us on Twitch. You'll be able to see the replay as well on Twitch. We have quite a few people now watching on Twitch. Twitch.tv/TheKempire. Also follow me on TikTok because I will go live on TikTok at some point. Maybe tonight on TikTok. TheKempire on TikTok as well. You can also check out my TikTok shop there as well. Nelson says, I have friends now, but I usually come alone. Let me see. Rocky says, Kemp, gonna take a note from Heavenly and start running for office. Should I? We talked about Heavenly last night, too. Should I run for office? I would not. I'm not interested in running for office. Oh, see, look, Creme Brulee says, I spoke to a lot of people during the London show by myself. We had a woman that came to the London show, but she came from far. And, well, I mean, there were people that came from other countries. When I say far for the UK. I forgot where it was, and she came on her own. I was like, oh. And then I know we had a few Americans that flew to London for our show. I would love to do another London show. I'm hoping maybe for next year, y'all. I try to make it happen for this year. I can reveal that I definitely tried this year. I tried to other places here in the States too, but I definitely tried for this year for another London show, but we just weren't able to make it happen. At least not in time for this year, and I'm definitely not going to come back in the winter like before. So maybe for next summer. Maybe next summer we'll do a European tour. Let's co-create that together. Okay. Thank you, Just Kelly. Just Kelly says, I love going places by myself too, but I also love Kempire being the great connector. Just saying. Okay. Creme Brulee says, France or the Netherlands? I feel like shout out to our Netherlands folks, because I feel like our community in the Netherlands is getting bigger. So if you are in the Netherlands and you're watching now or in the replay, let me know in the comments. Let me know if you're in the Netherlands. And if I do come to the Netherlands, obviously I'm going to do something in Amsterdam. I can't say it will be a show. Maybe it'll just be like a meetup. Hey, Norma. Norma says, I will do the virtual since I'm going to Okay, calm down over here. I'm going to Barcelona to film a film. I'm going to Barcelona for a film festival or of a film I'm in. Norma brag a lot. No, you should be very braggadocious. Congratulations, Norma. What's the movie? Can we see it? Norma, DM me the details. When you're going. Oh, I couldn't go because if you can't come to the New York show, then that means I can't go to your film festival. Any reason to go to Barcelona? Cal says, I talked with my neighbor at the... Oh, okay. I talked with my neighbor at the last show. We had a ball. See? My esthetician was at the last New York City show. He made friends with a bunch of people at the table as well. Here you go, Amina. Amina says Africa gets left behind on the tour. I've been trying to make Africa happen too. It's not done. Putting a tour together is not easy, guys. This is why they have touring companies. They will do the logistics. Maybe I'll get a touring company, but we'll see. All right. Let's say thank you. Demi, thank you so much for the super chat. Demi says, I wish they would highlight more of how intelligent Adrianna is. But I feel like they've done that in these Seville trips, the Sevilla trips. I feel like that's what we're seeing in these trips. But I guess you're saying just more on the show. Carolyn, thank you so much for the super chat. Carolyn says, are the paychecks significantly different for friend doves or versus housewives? It's hard to tell, but yeah. Definitely. They definitely want that housewives check. But keep in mind, though, the housewives check is not what it used to be when it comes to Real Housewives of the new housewives. But they deserve the paycheck over there in Miami. I'm sure at this particular point, 4 seasons after this reboot, I'm sure they're getting paid pretty significantly. Robert, but I'm wondering with the friend doves of Miami could be making what like the newbies made for Real Housewives of New York for that reboot. So they shouldn't be too mad. But let me see if I can dig up some sources on that. Robert, thank you so much for the super chat. Robert says, I have a real job unlike you who puts people to sleep. Larsa could never tell me anything. She's less than stupid. You're right. That was what Larsa said about Dr. Nicole. At first I was like, is Robert reading me right now? But I had to read. You were doing a quote. Okay. Yeah, that was probably the stupidest thing that Larsa, or one of the stupidest things that Larsa has ever said about Dr. Nicole. And especially when Dr. Nicole and Dr. Tiffany Moon talk about their specialties and things like that. They are smart. Very, very smart and still active in their careers. All right. Let me move on from there because let me actually drop the call-in link I'm going to drop the call-in link for our members on the post tab here on YouTube. And then once we get to 300 likes, I'll drop the call-in link for the general audience as well. Keep liking the video, guys. And don't forget to subscribe to the Kempire podcast as well so that you can hear extended versions of our live recaps. We are back. I can't believe it's Saturday. I was just on a flight, but the flight from DC to New York is not that long. But it's still just like it's like an all-day thing. Got up at 6 a.m., just kind of getting to myself together. Blah. I didn't go to bed till after 1. But here I am. I wanted to get this recap in. I will be recapping Real Housewives of Orange County. Can't promise that it'll be live, though, y'all. I still need to watch the episode. I probably will pre-record it, but I will get it to you guys soon. And if you're a podcast listener, I might drop the audio first before I drop the actual video. So I know some of you are not subscribed to the podcast. Oh, that's another place that's on my list. Ethereal says, here from Morocco. I would like to go to Morocco. I really would like to go to Morocco. It's been on my list for years. That's one of my top places I want to go. Morocco. But look, Lakia says, Larsa, you're not that smart in my Nene voice. Don't forget, guys, on Monday, we will be recapping the next 4 episodes of Season 6 of The Real Housewives of Atlanta for our new show, Rewind, Rewatch, Recap. And thank you to everyone in DC for all of the love on our new show that we've been doing every single Monday. And for all the love that you guys poured into me during this tour. Shout out to Philly, Atlanta, and DC, and New York City. And shout out to all of you that we've had quite a few people, because I know I was supposed to have a show in Seattle and we canceled it. But shout out to the people that came all the way from Seattle. Some of you came to the Philly show. Some of you came to the Atlanta show. Some of you came to the DC show, all the way from Seattle. So thank you to the Seattle folks as well. All right. Mama Ali says you're going to be surprised with OC Kempire. Truth was spilled. Truth was spilled? And I will probably do a special episode of rewatching. Can you guys get back to me, maybe in the live chat, or someone send me a DM, or maybe one of the mods? What season and episode was Naked Wasted? Can y'all get back to me? Because I think I'm going to do a special episode of just recapping that episode. I've seen already quite a few notes on that episode. And you guys have given me a lot of cliff notes on it. And I've seen clips of the episode and what happened. I'm surprised that Tamara still had his job. Just saying. But okay. And I also saw that Slade and Gretchen did an interview with her friend Heather McDonald. I saw that clip. I thought that was quite interesting. Everyone has turned on Katie. All right, we're not talking about this. Let me focus. If you remember the channel, I've dropped the call link for you guys. I'll talk more about it later. Let me move on because I need to go. Okay, so Julia, Marisol, and Lisa have that convo. Lisa gets upset with them because they're ridiculous, and she walks away. But she does later decide, because they have another conversation that was filmed between Marisol and Lisa, because Marisol probably realized how ridiculous she sounded. And Lisa decides that she is going to go to the dinner. Lisa tells them as they gather in the lobby that she's running 5 minutes late. She ends up showing up an hour late. I don't get what Lisa's doing, but here's the thing. I wonder if Lisa knew by showing up late, she would have that moment where they show her walking in and you see her walking down the street and it's sort of like this, like, boom, 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 boom. Like she's the only one that got that moment. So I don't know if she planned it that way, but it ended up being like, okay, Lisa, you won. But here is Lisa, even though Larsa says she was 2 hours late, she was only really 1 hour late, but still, you're an hour late. At least she told them not to wait for her. And she said this before for the other moment where she was like 2 hours late or longer. And she had said, I told them they could leave. But I think they wanted to have this narrative that she's always late. But she is always late. She is. She was late for the reunion with Andy. Andy was annoyed with her too. I'm sure she will not be late. I'm sure she was. Wait, was she late for this reunion too? I guess we'll have to wait and see. Okay. Alexia, hey. On the way to the restaurant, Alexia reveals in the car that she was engaged to the grandson of the owner of Pepsi Cola. And if you don't know Pepsi Cola, they don't just own Pepsi. If you take a look at some of your favorite drinks, they own quite a few drinks. Okay, that's $1 billion business. Thank you so much, Keisha. Let me write that down. This is a live show, but I'm gonna write it down. Season 4, episode. 11 is my favorite number. That's very interesting. Episode 11, and it's actually called Naked Wasted. Thank you, Keisha. Wow. Just based on what I know. The whole roofie aspect of that? Okay, I'll talk about it later. I can't. Oh, thank you so much, Mama Allie. Thank you. Appreciate it. Okay. Metal says, Alexia missed the bag. Yeah, because then she went on to marry Frankie and Peter's father, who ended up going to jail. Then she married the gay guy. And then she married Todd. I mean, but the gay guy, didn't he? He had money. He had money, too. I don't know what money I don't know what he left Alexia. I don't know what Alexia has on her own. But Todd apparently does fairly well, too. So, I mean, it's not Pepsi Cola money. But this is why I'm sort of saying to myself, though, why did she choose? Go watch the video that I did on Todd's video. I just did it the other day, a few days ago. Like a week ago, I think, at this particular point. I don't understand how Alexia chose reality television over the love of her life. Weird. But this is when I tell you, these reality TV stars, they get so caught up in this. This is what she chose. That's basically what Todd reveals. She chose reality television over the love of her life. GC says, drug dealer, gay guy, and a businessman. She needs to write a book. That's who needs to write a book, right? I'd read that. I'm not a big Alexia fan, but I would read that book, and that should be the title. Well, maybe not. that might be a little problematic, but I mean, maybe something. Just saying. Come on, that's a book I would read. Norma says reality TV is the love of her life. She's a narcissist. Okay. Metal says that she is a star now. You know, that's the running joke. Yeah. The Chino LA girl says Todd said that he's still paying her bills and he's paying for Peter's apartment. Peter needs to get a job, a real job. Norma says, Kempire, don't forget Alexia is a star. But she's not a narcissist. She's an empath. Okay? All right. So Adrianna reveals that Lisa unfollowed Marcus at the dinner table. And Gertie points out, I have to say, this is why I'm sort of like, Kiki, I don't get this whole media tour that you went on this week. You should have settled everything and made peace with Gertie at the reunion. Because we see so many different moments where Gertie has had your back this season, unlike you. You have not had her back consistently. Even though I get it, what you're saying during the whole splash moment, maybe you were pulling her away because you wanted to be there for her. But still, there were other elements where you're telling her to change her personality, basically. When you're out here showing off your breasts, putting your feet up in the air, showing your cooch. I'm like, come on. Yeah, you can't say that when you're doing more than her. It seems ridiculous. So Adrianna reveals that Lisa unfollowed Marcus. Larsa at that moment says, that's the bare minimum. That's what you've been fighting for this entire trip. What else does she need to do? What else does she need to do for you? So Gertie calls out Adrianna for even bringing up the fact that Lisa unfollowed Marcus because they pinky swore that they wouldn't. They made Kiki pinky swear. And they flash back to that moment. And you see in the moment, pay attention to that moment. Adrianna wasn't paying attention. So I also don't believe Adrianna was saying this to be malicious. See, I think that's the important detail here. I get what happens between Kiki and Adrianna, but I don't believe Adrianna saying that was her being malicious. I think she was trying to say, like, look, she unfollowed her. And I also believe she was not paying attention when they were pinky swearing, because you literally see Gertie pull Adriana's pinky to pinky swear. So I don't believe that Adrianna was paying attention. Natalie says that Peter needs a proper job. Yeah, because what other talent does he have? Apparently, Todd said that he told Alexia to negotiate to have both Frankie and Peter make a check on the show. Now, he's in the terrible cycle. That's how he's making his money. Sir, you better go get a real job or go to school and get something, because you're not even that good on reality television. They're not going to do a Next Gen Miami. You wouldn't be interesting on that. But okay. Bim Black says, no, Adrianna was not malicious. Kiki was stirring the pot. Because then Kiki, in that moment, is when Lisa arrives, tries to throw Adrianna under the bus. Here's the thing. In all fairness, Kiki, Gertie, probably did not realize that Adrianna was not paying attention. But I also don't believe that Adrianna told them in a malicious way. But when Kiki brought it up to Lisa, it was like she was telling on her. That's why I was like, Kiki, it was not Lisa or Gertie or Adriana's friend. She wanted to be a part of these other women. And she's sort of like, oh, Adrianna told them that you unfollowed Marcus. And Adriana's just like, that's not how it went. And Kiki, the way that you're saying that, like, that's not how it went. But this is how things get misconstrued. So then Adrianna says that Kiki is ratchet. And for me, it was sort of like, ratchet? First of all, that's a weird way of using the word ratchet. But I also understand this woman telling a black woman that she's ratchet, that can come up as microaggressive. Here's the thing, too. I love the fact, I don't know if you guys pay attention because you don't, sometimes it goes over people's heads. Gertie points out to Adrianna that, well, sometimes when you use the word ratchet, it can also be used as ghetto. But Gertie, again, having Kiki's back in that moment, says, this is what ratchet can be. And be misconstrued as. But then, of course, the other women in the group are like, oh, she didn't mean it that way, blah, 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 blah. It didn't make sense to me the way that Adrianna was, first of all, the way she was using it. But again, to me, based off of what I was watching and my initial watch, and even when I watched it again, it did come across like, first of all, why are you using that word? And you're using that word towards a black woman. I'm like, And before y'all start, because someone asked this in D.C. about, oh, this is why we can't put minorities. No. All of these women can coexist. This is what I said last night in D.C. There's no reason. You're going to coexist in reality with people of color and black people. So not putting people in these situations so that they don't do certain things is not helping the people. You can learn and grow. Look at Kyle on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. I think after Garcelle called out what she had done and how it made her feel, especially as a black woman, I'm sure Kyle, despite it being Kyle, she learned something from that. So this whole idea, we got to stop putting black women in these, white spaces because, then the white people are going to be called microaggressive and racist and that. No, learn. Learn. Instead of getting defensive, learn. Learn from this. We learned stuff about other cultures from watching these shows. Learn. Don't be scared to learn something. But okay. Nelson says, integrate, don't separate. And it really kind of gives that connotation. That's what Lonnie Love was insinuating on Watch What Happens Live. We had a whole conversation after Lonnie was on Watch What Happens Live. But anyway. April says, forever saving the unmelanated. Guys, we hit over 300 likes, and I forgot we have already a line of members backstage. If you remember the channel, I've already posted the call-in link for you guys. I'm dropping the call-in link for both Twitch and YouTube and Facebook right now. Please respect the timer so that we're able to get to everyone. The members that are currently backstage are going to get a minute. So we have Winter, Norma, Amina, April, GC. Those are members. They're going to get a minute. Everyone else will get 30 seconds to share their thoughts on the Real Housewives of Miami. But I'm not done. Okay. So Kiki and Adrianna get into a heated conversation after Lisa arrives an hour late. Kiki says that Adrianna is too old to be acting like this, which was weird to me because that didn't make sense. I was like, what do you mean she's too old to be acting like this? But this triggered and I didn't like this because because apparently I learned in the after show, Adrianna really is sensitive about her age. So this really triggered Adrianna. This is what caused Adrianna to really crash out. Because she's like, she made everything about her age. Now she's like, I'm too old for this. So they're like arguing back and forth. Okay. Again, sometimes these arguments are not about what they're arguing about. It's about having a moment. It's about stepping up. It's about having more camera time. Okay. Paris says, these opportunities were like Kempire said, so you can learn and grow. All Adrianna had to say, I didn't mean it that way and I'm sorry, or something like that. I just thought of Lonnie's comment. Yep. Exactly. Yeah, Angel, I learned that during the after show, Kiki's mom is 58. She said, but Kiki said in the after show, my mom is old. But Adrianna takes it to the next level. She brought it up every turn. She's like, I'm too old. I need to leave. I'm too old. I need to go watch Lisa's kids. I'm too old. She's like, I'm too old? I guess she means I'm expired. Oh, my gosh. I can't. And then she calls Kiki an ageist. I think Adrianna was doing a lot. Did Kiki have to say you're too old to be acting like this? Yeah. Oh, is that what she meant, Tiki? Because I was trying to think of like what else she could have meant. Maybe Tiki says wretched. Wretched is what she meant. When she described what she meant, and it's wretched she's describing. It's commonly used in the UK, Canada, etc. I was trying to think of another word as to what might be close to ratchet. But okay. But Gertie stood up for Kiki in that moment and explained to Adrianna what that means a lot of the times when we use that. It can have some good definitions as well. You know, some people are like, you're ratchet. But she didn't mean it in a good way. Okay. Okay. So they're having their fight. Stephanie gets up from the table and she's like, I'm done with this. Every minute we sit down, we're having an argument. She gets up and she's leaving. As she's leaving, Adriana's leaving with her. She's like, where are you going? She's like, I gotta go home. I'm too old. I gotta go take care of the kid. I'm too old. But this is like the Real Housewives ridiculousness. So as Stephanie's leaving, because these women are so stuck in this sorority, childlike mentality, all of a sudden Alexia and Marisol have to get up now too. Where are you guys going? What is happening here? Why did they need to get up and follow Stephanie? Stephanie, because it is a very childlike, immature mentality, because you saw what Alexia said as they're getting into the sprint. They're like, close the door so no one else can get in here. Y'all need to grow the hell up. Y'all are so immature. And I know some of the fans will be like, well, this is what we watch Real Housewives. Go back and look. Yes, we have immature moments, but all of this mean girl, immature behavior is becoming ridiculous. Like what? All right. So Stephanie starts crying. Why was Stephanie crying? And Alexia's like, well, she's not used to, this group and how this group can be. They all end up leaving. Lisa ends up tripping on her way out. Everyone's looking around like, what is going on with these people? Because they're causing a ruckus, all right? So Stephanie's in the backseat crying. She's in the backseat crying. She's like, I don't want to do this. And then, whatever, Stephanie. So they joke about how Larsa, they start talking about how this group argues and end up back at the hotel lobby. And they're talking about how this group argues. And they talk about how Larsa, even when she argues, she wouldn't yell. She's like, the house is on fire. I found that moment funny. And then you're seeing this moment between Stephanie and Alexia where they're getting along, they're having fun with each other. And she mentions it in her confessional. All right. And then they start talking about the airplane. She's like, I don't want to have to deal with this. I don't want to have to deal with this on the plane. This 22-minute flight. First of all, do we really need to take a 22-minute flight? How long would that drive be? Because to me, that's environment. We talked about this before, though. Because remember, she took that, I don't know how long that flight from Miami to Orlando was. I was like, I get it. You guys are trying to show off her wealth, but this is ridiculous and not great for the environment. But now we're taking a 22-minute flight. Okay. Really? Okay. Just to show off the plane, to have a moment on the plane? Oh, okay. Whatever. But I know the Housewives fans, yes, private plane. Whatever. So she starts laying out the seating chart, and she's like, I'm going to put Adrianna. Because at first she didn't want to even bring Lisa on the plane. Remember that? And now she wants to put Adrianna she's like the criminal. What? We could put her in this, I guess, whatever setup they can set up for this plane, they can kind of put her in her own separate room. What? So she's laying it out, and she has like the memo of all the rules for the plane, including you can't poop on the plane. Okay, girl. Especially because they've been traveling. So you get the bubble guts from eating the wrong thing. Now you're telling me I can't poop on your plane? You think anyone's really paying attention to, like, girl, are you going to go into the bathroom and smell? Are you going to throw me off the plane if I go poop in your plane? Just saying. Okay. So what is she else? So they're showing Alexia and Marisol the layout. Marisol gets a little frustrated with this because she's just like, okay, now this is ridiculous. She's like, I don't like the whole separating Adrianna. And mind you, she doesn't even love Adrianna like that. All right. So I was kind of like Marisol too. Like, okay, this is becoming stupid in regards to trying to separate Adrianna in the separate room. Okay. And she then says, this is where Marisol has it. After Stephanie threatens that if they disrespect her on this 22-minute flight, they can drive back. Let me tell you something. If I were to get privy to this conversation, if I'm on a trip with someone, because this is a stubborn Taurus in me, if I was to have this conversation with Stephanie, you know what I would do? I'd be like, I'll be driving back. You and your private jet, girl, I'm sure if you get a divorce from a Masood, you ain't getting the private jet in the divorce. I'll be like, girl, that's just how my pride is set up. I'll be like, I'll be strong. Or maybe I won't drive back. I will take another plane. Yeah, I'll be on the easy jet or whatever. I'll be over there going through the TSA, whatever. I'll see y'all there. My girl, now I see what people have been saying about Stephanie, that she tries to use her wealth against these women. Girl, you are so new money. You are so new money. And this, I blame the fans because you guys keep saying, we want to see people with money, blah, 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 blah. And this is what you're getting. You're getting people with real money aren't acting like this. But they also do not want to be on reality television. The people that want to be on reality television because their money's kind of funny, allegedly, are people like Stephanie. And that this is how they're acting. But again, production's encouraging this behavior. They're like, yeah, let's talk about the plane. Talk more about the plane. You see how Dr. Nicole came in with her almost $100,000 purse? And we didn't find that to be obnoxious. She's just like, it was production that added how much it was. She didn't come and telling us. But that's a Virgo for you. Virgo versus a Scorpio. All right, let's get to the callers, guys, because I have to say, though, despite me being annoyed with some of the things that happened in this episode, I still thought it was a good episode. I'm going to give it an 8. Yeah, I'm going to give it an 8. Yeah. Oh, you're right. Miss Gigi says, I would have taken a train. You're right. I'm not thinking. I would have taken the train. The train system in Europe is amazing. She could have take her jet and stuff it. I agree. The train system in Europe is amazing. The train system anywhere outside of the U.S. is amazing. Japan's train system, amazing. And fast. But again, I think they're flying because, whatever. Yes, it is Virgo season. Happy early birthday, Diana. Happy early birthday. Tomorrow's our birthday. Happy Virgo season. Our Virgo season officially starts. All right. Let's get to our callers, guys. Don't forget the opinions of the callers do not represent the opinions of myself, TheKempire LLC, or our sponsors, and everything that they say is alleged. Also, another reminder. I saw so many people at the DC airport that are subscribers. They're like, oh my gosh. I just want to say this. I can't tell you that. All right, I saw people at the Tysons. I went to the Gucci store. I saw someone that's a part of our subscribers there. Shout out to you guys. But so many people tell me, I didn't know you were having a show here. So I know sometimes it can be annoying for those of you that are always here. You guys never complain, but I'm just saying. These folks are saying, I didn't know you had a show coming up. New York City. the final show of 2025, Kempire After Dark, the villain era, because it ends in 2026, will be here in New York City, Friday, September 12th. The Brooke Ashley will be opening up for me, and this show will also be live streamed. It's your only opportunity if you live in other parts of the country or the world. You'll be able to watch it, but also replay it for a week. Go get your tickets today, but if you're in New York City, will be in New York City, or want to be in New York City, go get a ticket. Get a plane ticket, a hotel. Where the show is, the Green 42, that is a hotel, so you can get a hotel in the building. Go get your tickets today. More ticket information is available in the description. See you guys there soon. All right. Exactly. Mama Allie sees chat, no modding the callers or on content or time, period. But callers, respect the timer. Okay? All right. Let's get to our callers. First up, Winter's backstage. Winter, what did you want to share? Winter, you're muted. Maybe Winter's away?
Can you hear me?
Now I can.
Hi.
Hey.
Okay, so the first thing that stuck out to me in the episode was I caught a headache. Everybody was getting on my nerves. I didn't like the way they were trying to ice out like Lisa. I don't know what's going on this season with them trying to like ice out Lisa because she's late. Because I'm like, this is something that's always been Lisa. I don't think she means any harm.
Yeah.
I was annoyed with Stephanie with the bringing up the jet. It gives new money. Like, even the Brooke Ashley was just like, this girl seems like there's something funny with her. Like, it was just too much. But when she said ratchet, like, I felt like Adrianna didn't mean it in that term. Like, it was like when your mom tries to say something hip and you're just like, you're saying it in the wrong term, mom. Like, she's trying to use a slang word, but still, I didn't like the way Kiki tried to throw her under the bus. It was like, it makes me look at Kiki like, are you loyal to anyone? Like, I'm really starting to look at Kiki different. I looked at that interview with Carlos King, didn't really understand what she was saying. But yeah, Stephanie, I would like to see Stephanie and Nicole versus each other next season.
No, I don't want to see it. Goodbye.
All right, bye.
But it's your opinion. But yeah, and they hung out recently. There was a picture with her and Gertie and Stephanie. So no, I don't think that's going to happen. All right, Norma's backstage. Norma, what did you want to share?
Hi, Kempire. I'm depressed. Leo season is over. What can I say?
Woo,
I
woo.
cannot stand. I know. Give me that woo, woo, woo. Woo, woo.
Wait.
I can.
Whoa.
There you go. I can't stand Julia. She is such a two-faced. Oh, my God. She'll say anything or do anything. But now, when she and Marisol pulled Lisa aside to talk to her, why didn't they do that with the other women? Say, listen, we're going to go on this. Let's be pleasant. It's only 22 minutes. And Stephanie making a big deal about 22 minutes. And I don't care whatever Stansbury put makeup.
Oh, yeah.
That's why you have money for people to clean that. Now, what I did notice, I saw the preview for next week, and they did put Adrianna and Lisa in a separate compartment. And then they came out. It was very uncomfortable to watch. And then Adrianna has an accent. I'm not justifying what she said, but you could say wretched, ratchet. Sounds the
Oh.
same. She's so wretched.
Oh, no. I'm glad you called in, Norma. You did that.
Yes. She has an accent. Okay, gotta go because people are waiting.
Thanks,
Love you,
Norma.
Kempire. Hit the like button, subscribe, and we'll see you. Well, I'll hear you on the 8th,
Yes.
the 12th. Okay, goodbye.
Thanks, Norma. Bye. I'm glad she did that because when she did it, I was like, wait a minute. Oh, wow. I mean, I have to say, watching it back, I was like, I definitely don't think she meant ratchet. However, you can still apologize because of the connotation of what that could mean, especially when you direct that towards a black person. However, I was like, I don't think she's using that correctly when you watch the scene. But okay. All right, Amina's backstage. Amina, what did you want to share when it comes to Real Housewives of Miami?
Hi, Kempire. How are you?
Oh,
Can
wow,
I just say I love the name Winter? Oh my God, I just love that name so much. And she just sounds like a winter, doesn't she? I know her nails are always done. Anyway, by the way, I just want to say, first of all, that I'm done with Kiki. I've made up my mind. Me and Kiki aren't meant to be because she's just doing too much in these interviews. Like, it's just doing too much. And it wasn't just the water thing. The thing that really got me with Kiki was when she told Gertie she needs to tone it down. Nobody who peed in a public beach on camera can tell me to tone anything down. And Stephanie is giving me Bronwyn energy. And not just that she's showing off with her money, but I think her and Bronwyn use their money to hide behind, to distract. So people look at the money and not who they truly are. I think she uses it as a distraction tool. And Stephanie's plane is in the same category as Ralph in Atlanta and Ashley's singing career. And that category is things I'm sick and tired of.
Thanks, Amina. All right. April's backstage. We'll bring April up next. April, what did you want to share about the latest episode of Real Housewives of Miami?
Good evening, Kempire. Okay, so I agree. I'm done with Kiki. And if Kiki was able to just disassociate and just take a moment and see how the other ladies on the cast were sticking up for Adrianna and say, oh no, she didn't mean it that way, which in a sense, I do believe Adrianna meant to use a different word.
Yeah.
But it's okay, it can still be taken as a microaggression and see how Gertie rode for you, but you didn't do that for Gertie, and this apology tour doesn't make any sense. And Stephanie over her as well, because baby, I will go hop on a plane, Delta. Matter of fact, I will do a 4 interest payment plan and pay my ticket off that way, because you got one time to tell me where I'm fixing to sit and not fixing to sit. We're not fixing to do that. And I was told Marisol, if I got to put down my phone, you need to put down the liquor. Thanks. AA is down the hall. Yeah. But enjoy the rest of your day, Kempire. And it's still bump Julia and her stiff bobs.
Thanks, April. Well, I mean, if April said what I think I probably would have said too, because as a parent, you are not going to sit there and tell me I need to put my phone away. Like I did something, like I was recording you guys, like I did something really malicious to you. All right. Amy will be our last caller. Amy, what did you want to share in regards to the Real Housewives of Miami?
Hey, how's everybody doing?
Pretty good.
Kempire.
Hey.
Oh my God. I'm just starting to watch Miami, but Larsa did like a metamorphosis. I don't even recognize her. She doesn't look the same. And then the only issue I have, I don't like Stephanie. I tried to like this girl. I really did. It seems like she was upset with Alexia because she doesn't get to do what Alexia is doing. Because that whole plane arrangement, everyone's surrounding her. No, we can do this, we can do that. It seemed like she was enjoying that part. But she sat there and said all that negative stuff about Alexia getting all the attention and wanting to control people. It seems like that's what she's looking to do too. And I just don't like that for that group, because the group already has that bad seed going on. And I think she can go. And that money is not that long for her to be worried about somebody pooping in the bathroom on her plane. She seems a little weird about that. But outside of that, it was a good episode. No comment on Kiki, because I don't fully understand what the hell's going on with that. But it was a good episode. I give it a 9.
Oh, okay. Thanks, Amy.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Perfect timing. Brandy's back. Oh, Brandy disappeared. Okay, Brandy. Well, we appreciate everyone that called in. I'm going to get out of here because, I just literally came back from Washington, D.C. I might go live later. If not, maybe tomorrow. I will definitely get you guys the Real Housewives of Orange County recap between now and tomorrow, hopefully. So stay tuned for that. But if you're a podcast listener, I might drop the audio for that recap before I drop the video. So make sure you subscribe to the Kempire Podcast, and you can also hear our live recap and extended episodes and special episodes on the Kempire Podcast. I haven't done my Club Kempire episode this week. Club Kempire is the paid Apple Podcast subscription where I talk about exclusive stuff. So maybe that's where I will talk about all of my thoughts from my DC experience. So make sure you become a subscriber there. There is a free 3-day trial. So be sure to check that out. Brandy, are you still there? Hold on. Brandy, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Hey, what did you want to say about Miami?
I was just gonna say that Julia, her demeanor is still so nasty, but her saying Martina was babysitting the kids, I was wondering, does she have nannies? Because I'm half Martina's age and I would be wore out with 2 little kids like that. So I was just wondering, and Kiki and Adrianna, I don't think Adrianna was being malicious, but I feel like by the time it was over, Kiki was acting ratchet. And lastly, Stephanie, if her and Masood was to divorce, I feel like she wouldn't get the plane, but even if she did, she wouldn't be able to keep gas in it and go on 22-minute trips. So, on top of, Stephanie couldn't say nothing to me because I would just tell her, like, that pathetic eggplant you go home to every night, girl, please, like, go to bed.
Okay. Thanks, Brandy.
Thank you.
Bye. All right. Definitely last caller will be Vanessa. Vanessa, what did you want to share?
Hi, I'm glad I'm the last person. I honestly, Kempire, I just want to give you your flowers. So for about like 3 years, I've been in and out of therapy. And last year, I remember I was watching your live and you were talking about how important it is to get into therapy. And so I started therapy just around that time last year. And it has done so much for me to the point where I was in HR. I quit my job earlier this month. I didn't quit my job to go to another job, but I quit my job just to be free from stress and everything. And it was because of therapy, and it was because of you telling me to go to therapy. But say that to say this, like I did my last session. I did a session this week, and my therapist was just like, okay, we can do one more session, and I feel like you're good, but if you need anything, you can always call me. And it was just such a breath of fresh air to know that I just quit my job this month. It's not even 30 days since I quit my job, and my therapist is telling me to good riddance already in a good way. But I just wanted to give you your flowers to let you know that you are such a support system for your subscriber, and I'm glad I'm a part of your community.
Vanessa, thank you for calling. I'm so glad that we were still live when you called in. I'm so happy. First of all, congratulations on getting into therapy. Because I think so many people think you need to go to therapy when you're having all of these issues. No, I think it's good to get checked in with someone that's not connected to your life in any shape or form. And I'm glad that you did that. I'm glad that just something that we've said on here triggered that for you. And give credit to yourself because you actually took the initiative and did it.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And look, whatever's next for you is going to be amazing. I'm glad that you decided, and I get it, not everyone can do this, but you decided that your job was not good for your mental health or your physical health, and you decided to leave that job. So congratulations to you. I'm excited. You keep us posted on what you do next.
I will. I have a few things lined up.
Of course.
Of course. But they're all a venture for me and not me going in another corporate job or working for somebody else. And I have a real good support system, and I'm grateful. And right now I'm just going to take the rest of the year just to enjoy life. And then starting January, I pick things up.
Are you going to travel anywhere?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh, absolutely. So I'm Jamaican. I go to Jamaica like 8 times a year. Don't ask me why.
All the Jamaicans. I'm the only one that doesn't do that. My mother goes back and forth all the time.
Yes, Jamaica's my happy place. So
Same for my
I
parents.
go every other month, and then in between, my boyfriend just like, let's go to Jamaica. I'm like, okay. But I'm a Scorpio, November
My mother
8th,
too.
and I plan to go to Kenya for my birthday.
Oh.
And so I'm looking forward to that. And I have a 4-day weekend cruise lined up for one's just for me and my nieces and their best friends and my best friend, and then the other one is just whoever want to comes.
Well, living your best life. I love that for you.
Yes.
Well, congratulations. Enjoy the rest of 2025, living your best life.
Absolutely. That's what I'm looking forward to. And thank you so much again for your community. You don't know how you touch people, but I am here to tell you that you touched me in a way. And I discovered you in COVID through my cousin. In the middle of COVID, I went to Miami, my cousin, and her mom was terrified that I was there in the middle of COVID. But she was watching you, and that's how I got hooked on you ever since. And who would have thought that COVID would lead to this?
Wow. Oh my gosh. Where are you guys located?
I'm in Ohio now with my boyfriend. I lived in Florida, and my cousin is in Miami.
Okay. Well, you guys are going to have to come to one of the shows. Well,
yes, I do plan to. I'll be live streaming your next New York show.
Awesome.
And then if ever you come to Ohio or any of the surrounding states, I will be there. I will.
No shade to Ohio. I don't know if the community's there.
It's not there, but if ever you think of coming to Ohio, just hit me up. I follow you on all your platforms, and I could help you to get a venue. I might have a venue if it's like next year, and you could come for free.
Okay. Noted.
You won't
Noted.
have to pay.
Noted.
Just come, and you'll be taken care of.
Okay. All right. Well, Vanessa, we appreciate you calling in, and then I can't wait to see what you do next.
I will keep you posted.
Have a great day.
You too. Have a wonderful day.
Bye. Oh, I love that. And this is part of what I talked about on the tour. So many of you were pouring into me in this way, and that's why I say the tour is probably the highlight of what we do here on the channel and on the other platforms. So I love that Vanessa called in and shared that, because I'm sure a lot of you probably share that as well, or maybe you needed to hear what she went through and maybe wanted to take that step out on faith on yourself, and now you probably will. So I love that. That's a perfect way of ending today's Real Housewives of Miami recap. I will see you guys in the next one. Stay tuned for more content. Make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel. Make sure you share the YouTube channel with others. You saw what Vanessa's cousin did. All of you have been doing that as well. Continue to do that. And I will see you guys on the podcast next. All right, everyone, have a great rest of your day. Shout out to our King's Guards. Shout out to our channel members. And shout out to our subscribers. And those of you watching in the bushes, don't forget to like the video. We're almost at 500 likes. Replay crew, let me know your thoughts and opinions on this week's episode of The Real Housewives of Miami. Let's continue this conversation in the comment section. I will see you guys later.
Thanks for tuning in to Kempire here on the Kempire Radio Network. Don't forget to give us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. And for more information on the podcast, head on over to KempireRadio.com.